Hey guys, Omar here with your London Outlook for the 13th of January 2016. I would certainly sum up yesterday's trading as gosh darn it, followed by oh my gosh, that came so close, followed by too much. And that is essentially between my gold trade, my FTSE trade, and then the oil trade, which I didn't take the oil trade, but with the gold trade, obviously, the triple convergence, it ran up 50 pips and then came back down to break even, so that was oh darn. Interestingly enough, the short side of the triple convergence trade is working so far. I didn't take that one either, but again, it did work. The FTSE trade came, I think, within a pip or two of shutting me down and closing me out. But I ended up getting out of that one for a couple of pips as it raced back down, which I was really like huge sigh of relief there. I set my trade manager to, if it got back down to +4, that it would take it out. So, but I think it came within a pip. Measuring later, it came within a pip of me getting knocked out. So very close. And then oil just dropped off the map. We were looking for a standard setup to go short there. But by the time it actually produced that, it was just too close to the area of support and resistance. So hopefully today's a better day. I guess, made a tiny little amount. Forex was much better. Or it has been this week, I should say. Anyway, let's get right into things. Gold has taken a nosedive. And the interesting thing is when we see it from the weekly chart, it doesn't look like, oh, it's that crazy. However, we've come back under 1086, back under 1087, and, we are riding this trend line on the weekly. However, it's a little bit of a different story when we look at it on the 1 hour. You can see that we've come into all that area of support and resistance. We are floating above 1082.75. We've got a ways to go. I think, to be honest with you, the short side of this trade is actually quite difficult. And I would much prefer to see a solid breakout to the long side. And we have a pretty decent, we have a pretty decent trend line here. We have a lot of clear space, and 1086, 1087, and we've already made a significant move back to the other side. So I always like to trade against the way the market is flowing at the moment. And since we've had a big pullback, I would love to take a solid long shot here. Now, for me to consider the short side, again, we have to get under at least 1082.75. This trend line I'm not extremely concerned about, but at least a breakout below 1082.75. On the Fibmaster, you can see that we have a ways to go, 1078.13, which is really, as we've played it before, is really correlated well with 1077.50. There is a possibility that we can make it back up to 1093.75 as we did. Look, the triple convergence later in the day for the short has worked out, but that we make it pull back up to here again. And yes, it's triple convergence, but one thing about triple convergence, we don't take it a second time in the same direction. So we always just try to get the first opportunity of a hit. So we don't try to take it a second time, and it's already touched once. So if we come back up here and reject, obviously that would be a short trade. However, I would be looking for the rejection to close under 1087, if not 1086. So that's quite a ways of a rejection. If we do get a PFT above 1087, I'll take that, and then look for the secondary breakout above 1093.75, be taking my first profit at 1093.75 area. So hopefully that indeed does happen. If not, I'll be leaving it alone. Onto the FTSE, and very, very scary situation. I've learned in the past that, I do want maximum support and resistance protection. So I ended up putting my stop, even though it was a bit bigger than I like to use. I put it above the bullish dynafib, not that high up. Actually, it was more like right, just about where it got hit. I just anyway, so got entered, got pulled back, and then thank goodness it came down so I could get out. As of now, though, we're back on the bullish side of things. So for today's trade, we'll be looking for one of two things. And the bullish option is this pullback here. This is not going to be a triple convergence trade because we're not actually trading away to come back in. We're just sitting on top of those dynafibs. So do not put this in as a triple convergence trade. But you're looking for pressure into any one of these areas and then a solid buy signal from here. And I'll be going long. And for the short, we have a pretty good trend line underneath. We have a breakout below 5937.5, and I'd be happy to short there. Looking at the DAX, it's ironic because in the webinar I said I don't want to take the 15-minute long, and the 15-minute long ended up being a really, really big trade. I think it was quite a good distance. Yeah, 170 pips. Today, however, we're back into those dynafibs and very, very similar to the FTSE. Be looking for a breakout that confirms below the trend line. And that would be good for a short. Might be trying to capture that relatively early on the 15-minute. However, we should also consider the long option, which is a breakout pullback and then secondary move above the bullish dynafib. Pretty wild ride on Wall Street. There was a good PFT short that ended up setting up from hitting 16,563, and you can see big rejection there. This one ran for 133 max, so pretty good trade. Ironically, yesterday was really more about the Dow being a little bit easier on the long side. Today, I think we could go either way, and we'll be looking for a good solid move below 16,563 for a short, or a good break above this area for long. And as we know, when we get stuck in the dynafibs like this, usually we will see an indicator of the breakout potential. So if it breaks in one direction, we should essentially look for a good signal in that direction. If it breaks in the other, we should look for a good signal in that. The longer it goes sideways, the more likely that is to occur. Finally, oil was a little bit of a disappointment to me yesterday. I really wanted to take a short trade, but I just couldn't get my handle on it. By the time it actually made a move away from the trading bands, it was too late, and I was too close to 31.25. We did briefly dip. What was the low? We briefly dipped down a little ways under 31.25, and now we're back above it. So essentially same type of thing, either looking for a pullback to dynafibs and a short setup, or a good solid bounce above 31 or away from 31.25 for a long if it's a good PFT. And finally, if we are to have a big sell-off, then we'll be looking for a breakout, pullback, and then a close under the super convergence zone for a short trade. So that's the market the way I see it, and I hope you guys can attend the webinars. I look forward to seeing you guys there. Have a great day. Catch you later.